Welcome to the Wild Neffin National Park and the Mayo Dark Sky Park. Díomh gach aontaithe agus fáilte ród go dtí Parc Náisiúnta an Neffin Fiáin agus go dtí an Parc Spéir Dorcha anseo I Mayo. We are going to be taking a look at the night sky for the park here. Although the views are wonderful during the day as well, half the park is after dark. Tommy's confécant an spéir is títhe a don park as an show seo, tuigim gohfuil an roiarc go hálan a rit an léif ach mar a dúirtear tá Ladin Park way is títhe. So we're going to push forward to night time. At this time of the year, it still won't get particularly dark. Táid can brú roig go dtí ihe go dtí go titan an green in a lí, ach ag an am seo den blian fós níl an spéir chun a bheith an Dorcha. Watching the sunset into the Atlantic Ocean here, we can see that it's setting almost in the northwest. Ag fécant an green ag titan in a lí a muir haar an muir Atlantic. Táid ábailte éiscint gohfuil an green ag titam anna chua níl an green ag titam díreach san iarthar ach irid. The sun isn't setting directly in the west at all, but in the northwest. And if you're very lucky, you might have the planet Mercury there. Mátá an táirt go seans go feiceadh tú an planéid Mercury an Mercury san trol sin thart na cúpla lá ag teacht. Mercury is a very fast planet, so it disappears from our sky very, very quickly. As you can see here, it's getting more and more difficult to see as we push through the month of July. Mar bhfuil tú ábailte éiscint an seo, tá an planéid Mercury ag titam as ar roiarc nóair brúmid isteach go dtí lár an mí seo, tá an planéid anna dachar le héiscint catú a bheith tapa chun an Mercury éiscint. So Mercury is very fast. You do have to be just as fast very early in the evening. Imíonn an Mercury anna tapa is títhe nóair a tosníonn an ihe, ribh bhfuil sé fiú lán Dorcha beg an Mercury imethe. Even before it's completely dark, Mercury will be gone. And completely dark isn't quite the right word here in Ireland at this time of the year. You can still see this glow of sunlight. Go thomláin Dorcha níl siad siúd na focail ceart chun úsáid ag an am seo den bhliain in Éireann. Fiú I lár an ihe fós tá beánaíonn solas ag teacht chuas an seo, solas na gréine ag trasnú an spéir. So sunlight will still cross into the sky even here in July, but in a dark enough location, free from light pollution, you can still see the glow of the Milky Way. Fadas bhfuil tú in áit Dorcha le spéir Dorcha, séir ó trúlú solas ón na cathracha, beg tú fós ábailte bótharnabó finna a éiscint ag trasnú an spéir. The Milky Way isn't visible from every location. Light pollution will block it out, and of course, it can be difficult to spot if it's too close to sunset or sunrise as well. Níl tú ábailte bótharnabó finna a éiscint ó gach áit an domhan, agus mátá an chóras réalta seo rócóngra go dtí an green ag titim in a lí nó ag oidhrú, ní beg tú ábailte a éiscint ach irid. Luckily, this is the right time of year to go looking for the Milky Way. Despite the extra bit of light that we get and the very short nights, the Milky Way is at least right in the middle of the sky. Is é seo an am den blian ceart chun fécant a gcóir bótharnabó finna fiú le na ihe gear a bhfuil againn agus an solas sa bhreis a bhfuil againn an seo in Éireann. Tá an chóras réalta seo ar laid I lár an spéir, cóngra go leor go dtí lár nó fiú tosach an ihe. So we can see this pretty close to 12 here, and if we push later into the month, towards the end of the month, we'll see the sky seem to get a little bit darker. We're moving further away from summertime, and the Milky Way will be up even earlier. Táid ábailte éiscint gohfuil an spéir ag éirí beánaí níos Dorcha. Táid ag brú ó an saoire inis agus tá na ihe ag áilt níos fuide, agus brúin bótharnabó finna níos cóngrach go dtí tosach an ihe. As you can see here, the light of the moon makes a big difference to whether or not the Milky Way is visible. A big, bright full moon can obscure the Milky Way. Tá tionchar mór solas an ghealach do roiarc agus mátá tú ábailte an bótharnabó finna seo a éiscint ach irid. Go háirithe nóair atá an ghealach lán. Tá lán solas ag buint le an ghealach lán agus dá bhrí sin orintha, sé dachar rudaí a éiscint there is a lot of light associated with the full moon, and that can make things difficult to observe. Mostly faint objects like the glow of our galaxy, and unlike the planets. Tá na planéidí geal galore go bhfuil míad ábalta iad eiscint le an ghealach agus fiú le solas an grian ag teacht suas freisin. The planets are bright enough that we can see them even with the light of the moon and the light of the sun coming up. Agus tá tú ábalta eiscint an seo go bhfuil trower planéidí le eiscint le de súil nod, Jupiter, Mars agus Saturn. Agus Mercury an ceathrú ceann má tá tú tapa galore ag tasach an ihe. So we can see here that there's 3 planets visible to the naked eye, Jupiter, Mars and Saturn. There's a 4th, Mercury, if you're quick enough in the evening at the beginning of the month. Na planéidí seo tá tú ábalta iad eiscint le de súil amháin níl aon gá le telescope nó aon rud cosúla sin, ach le an planéid Uranus caithfidh tú telescope úsáid, agus fós tá sin níos éasca a dhéanamh muna bhfuil aon trúdú solas. We do still need a telescope for Uranus, but it is still easier to see when there is less light pollution. A telescope is required whether you're in the city or the countryside, but it will be easier in the countryside at least. Seo lua madan ag dera an mí agus má bunam na anamnacha beag tú ábalta eiscint na seacht drafóracha díreach thar an planéid Mars an sin. If I get rid of the names here at the end of the month, you should be able to see the 7 sisters, or the Pleiades, a small group of stars very close together, just above the red planet Mars. And you can certainly see that it's red there. Is é seo an planéid Darug Mars agus má tá tú ag fécinn there le de súla tá dá Darug an planéid sin tá tú ábalta é a eiscint. Tá míid chun brú bragánín a raig níos congrach go dtí an mí secuin chun chaspáint go bhfuil na ihe chun áilt níos fuide fós. So we're going to push ahead a little bit closer to next month, or into next month, here we go, to see how much longer the nights are going to get and how much darker it will be. Also to show you this nice little view, a conjunction of Mars and Jupiter. They're going to be right next to each other on a very auspicious date. We're also starting to see Orion here in the east in the morning. Tá tú ábalta eiscint an seo go bhfuil an planéid Mars agus an planéid Jupiter anna chungrach le chéile, agus freisin tá míad ábalta eiscint go bhfuil Orion nó Umbadach ag teacht suas an seo madan. Is é Umbadach anam Gailen agór Orion. Umbadach is an Irish name, a Gaelic name for Orion. If you would like to use an alternative name, there are plenty of other names for the constellations in other languages and even different constellations in some cases. Fiú san mí seo níos congrach go dtí an géire tá an bhórthnabó finna anna éasca le eiscint agus suas lua is tithe agus tá an spéir daracha níos lua freisin. And now that we've pushed a little bit closer to winter, we still have the Milky Way in the sky, and it's nice and dark much earlier. So this is just coming up to 11 o'clock rather than being a little bit after midnight. And if we go a little bit closer to sunrise, the Milky Way starts to come into view just a little bit past 10 o'clock. Tá muid ábalta bóthnabó finna eiscint beagání níos lua is tithe, bhí sé bheagnach le thuairt tar éis meán ihe san úil, ach má nóir tá muid tar éis brú níos déanaach san bliain, be míad ábalta bóthnabó finna eiscint níos lua is tithe an seo gáiníonn tar éis 10 den 8 mí, agus an 12 lá den 8 mí agus an 13 lá den 8 mí, nó an 12 ihe is é sin ihe na Percy. So we're here on the 12th day of the 8th month, and the 12th day and 13th day, or really the 12th night and 13th night of the 8th month, is an auspicious date because it is the date of the Perseids. The Perseid meteor shower will be happening around this date, and they are one of the best meteor showers, and just like everything else, they look better in the countryside. Is é ceandanna ci is fearr é na Perseids, agus beg na Perseids siúl na dátainna seo, agus tá na cithanna seo na cidréige a bhad níos fearr nóair atá tú amach faoin tua agus séir ó trúdú solas. Chun cricnú, tá míad chun brúraig go dtí an madan ag deireadh an mí, má tá tú sásta fanacht suas an ihe fad, nó má tá tú suca lua madan aon nós, na madan ag an aimseo den bliain is fearr chun fécint agór planéidí. So if you are up anyway, if you're up until early in the morning, if you're willing to stay up that late, or if you get up that early, it is the best time of the year to go looking for planets. Once we're through to the end of the month, as we are here, we've got all of those planets up. while it's still completely dark and much safer to point a telescope at them. Ag dera an míseachún beg na planéidí sin go léir suas istíthe an fada súil se daracha golóir agus tá sin a bhd níos sábháilta má tá tú ag fécinnt orthú le telescope. We will also get to see the return of a few famous constellations, and these things will stay visible until much closer to sunrise than they would do in a place with more light pollution. Bemid obalta eshkent cúpla réaltlana nó réaltnéil anna cháúla anna congur grí madan, agus beg tú obalta na ábhar seo eshkent le a bhd níos mó solas na gréine san spéir ná mar bheocht tú obalta eshkent le an trúlú solas. Now that we're all the way through to sunrise, at the very end of the month, Mercury is back in the morning. So that should give you an idea of how quickly it gets around the sun from one side to another. We can see the brightest star Sirius just crossing the horizon, and all of Orion is visible just under the planets. Tommy Jobbalta an planéid Mercury eshkent arish bakor go hogan sé sin nod aigid dut méler keiko tapa is a timpelíon an planéid sin an grian ó taobháin gdí an taobhela láisteag de cúpla mí. Tá an réaltas gile Sirius who's freshen. Díreach faoi an badach ceann an réaltnéil is cáúla an seo díreach faoi na planéidí iad féin agus an ghealach fós an spéirgus tá sé gcónaí das an ghealach eshkent. So we have all of this in the sky, these famous constellations and planets and the moon. And of course, the moon is always nice to see. So that brings us back to sunrise here in the Wild Nephin National Park and Mayo Dark Sky Park. Shullin, Harnshkadi on Madden, August on Lay, Creek on Show, No on Park, Shunta, Nanefin Fion, August on Park, Spera, Durka, Mwio. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I very much hope you enjoy your stay and time in this park. Tásúlagum go bhain tú tanmh as an show seo, agus tám cinnte go bhfuil tú chun tanmh buint as do sira san áit seo freisin.